Boom, the rivalry just got real. When Don Staley speaks about Tennessee, it's never just post-game talk, it's a challenge. And what she just said could completely shift the balance of power in the bulletin board material. We're not talking about surface-level analysis. We're talking about championship-level insight from a coach who built a dynasty and knows exactly what separates contenders from closers. Carolina fan, you're going to love the confidence. If you're a Tennessee fan, you might feel called out, in the best way possible. And if you just love elite women's basketball, you're about to witness why this rivalry still runs the sport. Because revealed wasn't shade, it was a blueprint. And trust me, if Tennessee applies it, the entire SEC better watch. Before we break this down possession by possession, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss any SEC breakdowns, and drop a comment. Is Tennessee one adjustment away from being dangerous in March? Or has South Carolina created a gap nobody can close? Let's get in. If you follow basketball, you already know that when Dawn Staley speaks, the entire sport listens. She doesn't waste words. She doesn't posture. And she definitely doesn't hand out empty praise. So when she shared her thoughts after battling Tennessee, it wasn't just post-game commentary, it felt like a masterclass. This wasn't about one win. It wasn't about one stat line. It was about philosophy. And if Tennessee truly absorbs what she said, it could shift their trajectory in a major way. The game itself had all the emotion you'd expect from South Carolina versus Tennessee. Physical defense. Momentum swings. Big-time shots. Crowd energy that felt like March in the middle of the season. Tennessee came out aggressive, flying around defensively, pushing tempo, trying to speed South Carolina up. For stretches, it worked. But then something happened, the same thing that's happened to a lot of teams facing Staley's settled in. That's the difference. Not talent. Not effort. Not passion. After the game, Staley didn't focus solely on her own team's execution. Instead, she offered insight into what separates teams that compete from teams that close. And indirectly, she laid out a blueprint Tennessee could use to elevate itself back to championship identity must be unshakable. Programs don't adjust their standards based on opponent, environment, or scoreboard. They defend with the same urgency up 20 as they do down 5. They rebound like every possession decides the season. They communicate as if silence is unacceptable. And culture isn't built in huddles. It's built in daily. For Tennessee, the flashes are there. The athleticism is obvious. The scoring potential is real. But Staley subtly pointed out that flashes don't win conference titles. Discipline. She emphasized defensive accountability. South Carolina's defensive system doesn't rely on one star stopper. It relies on 5 players connected by constant communication. Every switch is early. Every help rotation is anticipated. Every closeout is controlled. When Tennessee broke down offensively, it wasn't because they lacked skill. It was because South Carolina forced them into rushed decisions. That doesn't happen by accident. That's preparation meeting. Staley also highlighted pace with purpose. Tennessee loves to run, and when they're flowing, they can overwhelm teams. But there's a difference between playing fast and playing rushed. Elite teams understand clock management, shot quality, and when to slow momentum to regain control. South Carolina doesn't panic when the game speeds up. They dictate this. That's experience married to. Another powerful point Staley touched on was leadership. Championship teams don't rely solely on coaching corrections. Players hold each other accountable in real time. They demand proper spacing. They demand defensive effort. They call out missed rotations before the bench. That internal standard is what turns good rosters into great teams. For Tennessee, that might be the missing ingredient. The talent pipeline is there. The fan base is elite. The tradition is unmatched. But identity must be reinforced possession by possession. Staley rebuilt South Carolina from the ground up. She understands what Tennessee is chasing because she built it herself. Her advice wasn't criticism, it was a challenge. She knows rivalries are better when both programs are elite. She knows the SEC is stronger when Tennessee plays with championship consistency. And she understands that growth sometimes starts with uncomfortable How small adjustments can produce massive change. Tighter closeouts. Fewer empty possessions. Stronger late-game execution. More vocal floor leadership. Those aren't system overhauls, they're commitment upgrades. And commitment upgrades win in. Imagine Tennessee applying that blueprint over the next stretch of conference play. Imagine them turning defensive possessions into statements. Imagine them valuing every offensive trip as if it's the last 2 minutes of a tournament. That's when potential becomes real. What makes Staley's perspective powerful is credibility. She's not theorizing. She's speaking from a place of championship repetition. Her teams don't rise occasionally, they sustain excellence. Tennessee doesn't need they need reinforcement of identity. Reinforcement of defensive culture. Reinforcement of leadership voice. Reinforcement of late-game discipline. If they absorb even half of that message, the ripple effects could reshape the SEC. Because here's the truth about elite basketball, the margin between top 5 and top 15 isn't talent. It's habits under. South Carolina habits are automatic. Tennessee's are still formed. And that's not a knock. That's an opportunity. There's something poetic about a dominant coach offering a roadmap to a historic rival. It elevates the sport. It sharpens the competition. It forces growth. If Tennessee embraces the challenge, the next matchup won't just be emotional, it will be strategic warfare at the highest. And that's good for. Staley's advice wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was precise. And precision is what builds the ball is now in Tennessee's. What discomfort? Will they turn flashes into foundation? Will they choose identity over impulse? If they do, don't be surprised if the narrative shifts. Because sometimes the most powerful turning points don't come from within your locker. Sometimes they come from the opponent who already and Dawn Staley has definitely figured it. And that's what makes this rivalry so powerful. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about evolution. It's about standards. It's about whether a proud program like Tennessee takes the challenge and turns it into fuel, or lets it become just another postgame. Dawn Staley didn't just win a game. She delivered. Now the question is, who responds? If Tennessee locks in defensively, sharpens their late-game execution, and embraces the championship-level accountability, the SEC race could flip fast. And if they don't? South Carolina continues to set the standard everyone else is chasing. Either way, we're witnessing elite basketball at its highest level, and it's only getting better from. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe for more in-depth women's college basketball coverage, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Tennessee ready to level up? Or is Dawn Staley simply playing chess while everyone else is playing check? Let's talk about. I'll see you in the next one.